software development organization handles several projects at any time. Okay, not only they are dealing with only one project, they can be used. They can be generally in general they will be handling multiple projects at a time. Okay, so software organizations assign different teams of engineers to handle different software projects. Thus, there are two important issues. That is, how is the organization as a whole structured and how the individual project teams are structured. Okay. So there are a few standard ways in which software organizations and teams can be structured. That's what we will be learning in organization structure. So there are essentially two broad ways in which a software development organization can be structured. First one is the functional organization. Okay, that is also called functional. So in functional organization, we know engineers are organized into functional groups. Example, like they are doing some kind of specifications or design or coding or testing or maintenance. Okay, so engineers from functional groups get assigned to different projects. So basically there are two types of format. One is functional format, another one is project format. So in project format, functional format, and another one is project format. Okay. So in project format, generally the development staff are divided into are divided based on the project for which they work. In functional format, the development staff are divided based on the functional group to which they belong to. The different projects borrow engineers from functional groups for specific phases of the project and return them to their functional groups upon completion of the phase. So basically in the functional format, different teams of programmers perform different phases of a project. So for example, we can consider one team might do the requirement specification, another do design, and so on. The partially completed product passes from one team to another as the product evolves. So therefore, the functional format requires considerable communication among the different teams because the work of one team must be clearly understood by the subsequent teams working on the project. Okay. So this basically requires good quality documentation to be produced after every activity. Next one is the project format. So in project format, a set of engineers are assigned to the project at the start of the project and they remain with the project till the completion of the project. So thus the same team carries out all the life cycle activities, and obviously the functional format requires more communication among teams than the project format. So because one team must understand the work done by the previous team, even though greater communication among the team members may appear as an avoidable overhead, the functional format has many advantages. So the main advantages of functional organization are ease of staffing, ease of staffing, production of good quality documents. That is, actually different phases are carried out by different teams of engineers producing good quality of documents, job specialization, and the efficient handling of the problems associated with manpower turnover. Okay. So basically the functional organization, just a second, students. So basically the functional organization allows the engineers to become specialists in their particular roles. That is requirement analysis. We know these are the phases. design, coding, testing, maintenance, etc. They perform these roles again and again for different projects and develop deep practical insights into their work. It also results in more attention being paid to proper documentation at the end of a phase because of the greater need for clear communication between teams doing different phases. So the functional organization also helps an efficient solution to the staffing problem. So the project staffing problem is based significantly because personnel can be shifted to a project as needed and returned to the functional group when no more needed. This possibly is the most important advantage of the functional organization. A project organization structure forces the manager to take in almost a constant number of engineers for the entire duration of the project. So basically, this results in engineers idling in the initial phase of software development and then coming under tremendous pressure in the later phases of development. So a further advantage of the functional organizations is that it is more effective in handling the problem of manpower turnover, and this is because engineers can be brought in from the functional pool when needed. So this organization takes production of good quality documents. So engineers, that is specifically new engineers, can quickly get used to the work already done. So in spite of several important advantages of the functional organization, it is not very popular in the software industry. The apparent paradox is not difficult to explain. So the project format provides job rotation to the team members. That is, each team member takes on the role of the designer, coder, tester during the course of the project. So on the other hand, considering the present skill shortage, it would be very difficult for the functional groups, functional organizations to fill in slots for some roles such as maintenance, testing, coding, and handling projects require knowledge of specialized domain areas. This project organization, okay? So in project organizations, engineers get assigned to a project for the entire duration of the project and same
চেঞ্জ হয়নি
হ্যাঁ চেঞ্জ হয়েছে তো
এই হলো
প্রজেক্ট অর্গানাইজেশন দেখতে পাচ্ছ না
ম্যাম এই জাস্ট চেঞ্জ হলো এই জাস্ট
আমি চেঞ্জ করেছি সঙ্গে সঙ্গে চেঞ্জ করছি নেটওয়ার্ক ইস্যু হতে পারে স্টুডেন্টস কারণ কলেজের নেট তো বুঝতেই পারছো এবার বোঝা যাচ্ছে স্ক্রিনটা চেঞ্জ হচ্ছে যে মানে
এখন এসছে প্রজেক্ট অর্গানাইজেশন
আছে তো প্রজেক্ট অর্গানাইজেশন So, same set of engineers carry out all the phases. So once the project gets underway, the project manager, we know that has to monitor the project continuously to ensure that it progresses as per the plan. So the project manager designates certain key events such as completion of some important activities as milestones. So basically, a milestone that is also called the completion and review of software requirement specification, that is SRS document, completion of the coding and unit testing. So once a milestone is reached, the project manager can assume that some measurable progresses have been made, and if any delay or deviation is noticeable, then corrective actions might have to be taken. So that's why this may entail reworking of all the schedules and producing a fresh schedule. So the advantages of project organization is engineers save time on learning details on every project, and it actually leads to job rotation. Next one is the team structure. So this is very important. You know that if you are doing any kind of project, for the successful completion of that project, an efficient team is very much required. So basically, team structure addresses the issue of the organization of the individual project teams. So the possible ways in which the individual project teams are organized, we shall consider only three formal team structures. One is democratic team. Okay, one is democratic team. Next is chief programmer team, and the third one is mixed team organization. Mixed team organization. Okay, so just so what is democratic team? Okay, so basically you need to remember these points because these are the features of democratic teams. So first let us understand what is democratic team structure. So democratic team structure, as you can see from the name, that it does not enforce any formal hierarchy. So typically a manager provides the administrative leadership. At different times, different members of the group provide technical leadership. The democratic organization leads to higher moral and job satisfaction. Consequently, it suffers from less manpower turnover. Also, the democratic team structure is appropriate for less understood projects. Okay. Since a group of engineers can invent better solutions than a single individual, as we will be seeing in chief programmer teams, a democratic team structure is suitable for projects requiring less than 5 or 6 engineers for a research-oriented projects. So basically for large projects, a pure democratic team organization tends to become chaotic, and democratic team organization encourages egoless programming, as programmers can share and review one another's works. So to appreciate the concept of egoless programming, we need to understand the concept of ego from a psychological perspective. So this actually comes from the democratic teams. So we know that like if in human behavior, ego is a very every human behavior. We know that there is everyone has this ego, but you should not show this ego in professional field. If you are showing this ego, this feature of yourself in your professional field, this because of this feature, you will hamper a lot of things. Okay, you will hamper a lot of things in your project also. You will see that because of this issue, you will see that every other members of your project are actually getting hampered. Why? Because suppose you are in your organization, you are having 4 developers. Okay, 4 developers you are having, and all of them are not that much good in programming. All of them are not that much good in programming. So suppose programmer 1 is very much efficient, programmer 2 is not that much efficient, programmer 3 is also very efficient, and programmer 4 is very less efficient. Okay, so this are the different programmers. Now if you see, this programmer 1 is efficient but he is shy. Okay, he is shy, and this programmer 2 is efficient, is less efficient, but he has normal behavior. Okay, like he is not that much shy, but and also he is smart. But this programmer 3, this he is not but he is not having that much knowledge, but he is very much confident. Okay, even if he does not know about the programming skills, but still his extra overconfidence, actually his confidence is surpassing all others. Okay, so that's why you can say that this programmer is having an ego. That is, like, he, even if he is not having that much of knowledge, but still whatever he is giving to the project, uh, whatever he is delivering to the project lead, actually the project lead is getting impressed by his behavior. Why? Because he is very much confident, and but his knowledge is not that much good. But here in this programmer one, he is having much better knowledge than this programmer three, but he is kind of shy. So his shyness is actually suppressing his skills. So this is not actually acceptable, and that's why he will possess this person, as he is shy and he is underconfident. That's why his skills are getting suppressed, and actually they are. That's why he is showing ego. So that's why what will happen, because of this single person, all the team structure, that is all the team's effort will get hampered, and that is not acceptable. So this is what I want to explain. Like that ego, there should not have anyone ego in any kind of like whenever you are doing any kind of job, there should not have any ego. So most of you might have heard about temperamental artists who take much pride in whatever they create. Okay, so similarly, software development also requires original creation, although of a different type. Like, see here, whenever this programmer one is creating something, he is not directly showing this to his lead, whereas software developer three is copying something from software developer one, and still, because of his confidence, the project lead is getting impressed by his performance. Okay, so that's what is actually happening in nowadays field. In nowadays, you will see there this kind of egoistic attitude is everywhere. So we need to we should not actually encourage this kind of behaviors. So a manager provides administrative leadership at different times. Different members of the group provide technical leadership. Basically, democratic organization provides high moral and job satisfaction to the engineers. So that's why democratic organization is very good. Therefore, it leads to lesser employee turnover and suitable for less understood problems also. So a group of engineers can invent better solutions than a single individual. What is the disadvantage of this democratic team structure is teams members may waste a lot of time arguing about trivial points. Okay, that is absence of any authority in the team. So because they are wastage of time is there in this democratic structure. So another one is chief programmer team. Chief programmer team. Okay, so in chief programmer team, in this team organization, a senior engineer provides the technical leadership and is designated as the chief programmer. Okay, so the chief programmer partitions the tasks into small activities and assigns them to the team members. So here also it verifies and integrates the products developed by different team members, and the structure of the structure should be efficient in case of chief in this project. Okay, so the chief programmer provides an authority, and this structure is more efficient than that of the democratic team for well understood problems. So basically we are doing this chief team programming in case of well understood problems. So however, the chief programmer team leads to lower team morale, since the team members work under the constant supervision of the chief programmer, and this also inhibits their original thinking. So the chief programmer team is susceptible to single point failure, since too much responsibility and authority is assigned to the chief programmer. So the chief programmer team is probably the most efficient. Okay, so remember, it is the most efficient way of completing simple and small projects, since the chief programmer can work out a satisfactory design and ask the programmers to code different modules of his design solution. So a senior engineer is here providing technical leadership. That is, it is he is partitioning the task among the team structures, verifies and integrates the products developed by the members, and it works well when the task is when the task under it works well when the task is well understood and also within the intellectual grasp of a single individual, and it is actually important for of early completion with other factors, that is team moral, personal development, etc. Chief programmer team is subject to a single point failure, that is too much responsibility and authority is assigned to the chief programmer. So if that particular programmer fails, then the whole team will or the whole thing will lead to failure. So that is having this disadvantage. So next one is mixed team structure, mixed control structure. So here in chief, basically the chief programmer team structure works well. We know that when the task is within the intellectual grasp, okay, and of a single individual. So even for simple and well understood problems, an organization must be selective in adopting the chief programmer structure, and the chief programmer team structure should not be used unless the importance of early completion outweighs other factors such as team morale, personal development, life cycle costs. So the next one is mixed control team organization. Mixed control team organization. Okay, so mixed control team organization, actually from the name you can understand that it draws upon the ideas from both the democratic organization and the chief programming. So basically it is a combination of the two team structure, that is democratic team structure and chief programming team structure. Okay, so the mixed control team organization incorporates both hierarchical reports and democratic setup. Okay, so we have seen that in case of democratic team structure, there is a democratic setup, and in case of in case of chief programmer organization, we are having hierarchical reporting. So it is actually combination of these two types of team structure. So in the democratic connection, we show in the mixed control team organization, it is suitable for large team sizes, and the democratic arrangement at the senior engineers level is used to decompose the program into small parts. So that's why we are dividing a program, a large program, to different small. Yes, students, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, madam.
So we are dividing a program into subparts. So here each democratic setup at the programmer level attempts to find a solution to a single project, and thus this team organization is eminently suited to handle large and complex programs, and that's why we can say that this team structure is extremely popular and is being used in many software development companies. So basically, whenever we are doing this, any kind of development, in general, we are using this mixed control team organization. So here, these are the features of mixed control team organization. These are the diagrams. This is chief programming team, and this is diagram for democratic team, and this mixed team organizations. Is actually here that it is following a hierarchy, as we have seen chief programmer team. Here it is a chief, and he is dividing the project into two types of people, he is dividing the project into two sub modules, and again that module is getting divided. And this is the democratic team structure, where it is having a democratic setup, and this is a mixed team organization. So these are the different topics of software project management. So we have completed this chapter, and now in the next chapter we will be starting a new we will be starting our next chapter in the next class. So do you have any doubt regarding this, students? Any doubt?
No,
Okay. One thing, all of you have submitted the assignment.
ma'am, 3 students are left. Names are Anand Kumar, Biswajit Prasad Singh. Biswajit Prasad Singh will not give, I think so. He's from Nepal. And Anand Kumar, I don't have any communication.
Okay.
And one more name is ma'am. Pritam Ghoshal, madam. Three students. Anand Kumar, Biswajit Prasad Singh, and Pritam Kumar. Pritam Mondo.
Okay, Shuman,
Ghoshal,
thanks
ma'am.
a
Pritam
lot. You
Ghoshal.
have done a great job. I mean, I should be thankful because this is a very hectic thing which you have done. So thank you. Can you please forward these three names to my WhatsApp number?
Yes, madam. Yes.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot. So students, you should encourage student Sumon because he is doing a great job and he is helping all of you to submit the assignment. So okay. So we all the students along with me should are thankful to him. Okay. So anyways, so let's we have in this class we have come to this chapter end. So we will be continuing our next chapter in the next class. So do you have any doubt regarding this chapter, because this is a theoretical chapter and there is not much thing to understand or in for there is no space to have any doubt. So still I am asking, do you have any doubt, anyone? So the fourth chapter is very important because in that chapter we will be learning about software requirement specification. And after completion of that chapter, we will be starting our lab sessions. Okay. So after this fourth chapter, we will be starting our lab sessions. And in that lab session, I will be giving you some SRS document to implement. So anyway, students, so let me download the today's attendance list. Okay. So thank you students for attending today's class. Now you can leave.